Just a quick note before we start this episode. This episode, again, is just an audio format. I had some technical difficulties with my equipment, and I'm sorting that out. It's incredibly frustrating for me, as I'm sure it is for you. So just bear with me, and hopefully we should be back to video episodes in no time. All right, here's the episode. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Welcome back to English with Dane, a podcast designed to make you feel good about your English. As always, I'm your host, Dane, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at English with Dane. Today's episode has kind of a similar vibe to the last one. I came across this article the other day about the psychology behind conspiracy theories, and I found it to be really, really interesting and relevant to things that are going on today. I'm not here to debunk any conspiracy theories in particular. I just think it's useful to explore why so many people are drawn to them. What is it that makes us question established and reputable institutions and believe a random person on YouTube? What makes some people more susceptible than others to believing one of these theories? Let's read through this article together and find out. The link to the full article is in the description of this episode, along with the episode transcript in case you want to check out the full thing later. All right, let's do this. You are watching episode 25 of season 2 of English with Dane. Hit it. I thought we could start today's episode with a bit of uplifting news. I feel like every time I turn on the TV or go on social media, I'm faced with everything that is going wrong in the world. So I thought a good way of starting this episode would be to check out what's going right. So here's a quick headline just to start with something positive. This headline is from the BBC and it says, "Huntington's disease successfully treated for the first time." One of the cruelest and most devastating diseases, Huntington's, has been successfully treated for the first time, say doctors. The disease runs through families, relentlessly kills brain cells, and resembles a combination of dementia, Parkinson's, and motor neuron disease. An emotional research team became tearful, so they cried, they became tearful as they described how data shows the disease was slowed by 75% in patients. It means the decline you would normally expect in 1 year would take 4 years after treatment, giving patients decades of good quality life, Professor Sarah Tabrizi told BBC News. The new treatment is a type of gene therapy given during 12 to 18 hours of delicate brain surgery. The first symptoms of Huntington's disease tend to appear in your 30s or 40s and is normally fatal within 2 decades, opening the possibility that earlier treatment could prevent symptoms from ever emerging. Professor Tabrizi, I'm definitely saying it wrong, director of University College London's Huntington Disease Centre, described the results as spectacular. "We never, in our wildest dreams, would have expected a 75% slowing of clinical progression," she said. None of the patients who have been treated are being identified, but one was medically retired and has returned to work. Others in the trial are still walking despite being expected to need a wheelchair. Treatment is likely to be very expensive. However, this is a moment of real hope in a disease that hits people in their prime and devastates families. You gotta love a bit of science against diseases type of news to start the episode. There was a good phrasal verb there, to run through. In this case, to run through is used to say that it is common amongst family members and is passed down across different generations. You could also say that it runs in the family. Maybe green eyes run in your family, freckles, pecas, color blindness, blood type, etc. These things run through or run in your family. There's also a frase hecha that I liked in that little news clip. Never in our wildest dreams. Never in our wildest dreams. It's not an expression, really. It's just a phrase that we use a lot to express our disbelief, often for something good. Like, hey, did you think this project would take off like it did? And you would say, never in my wildest dreams. It's something that we call an idiomatic phrase or an idiom, okay? Write that one down, and next time someone asks you if you were expecting something to go as well as it did, throw it in there. Never in my wildest dreams. You can use it for negative things too, but I feel like it's more often used or more commonly used in a positive way. Okay, now that we're feeling positive, let's read this article together because that's what this episode is about. The article is called The Psychology of Conspiracy Theories. And before we get into it, I just want to reiterate that I'm approaching this from a place of curiosity and genuine interest. I'm not trying to convince you to believe something or to not believe something, okay? I'm just approaching this from curiosity and actual interest. I just wanted to clear that up before we continue. I don't want any of you walking away from this episode thinking I'm trying to impose anything, okay? All right, let's do this. The psychology of conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories have occurred in society for centuries, but they have gained increased prominence in our contemporary culture, fueled by the unease of the anxious world. In the high-speed information exchange and social media bubble, these theories find fertile ground, terreno fértil, fertile ground to root, echar raíces, to root and spread, often playing into the fears and uncertainties of individuals. The appeal of such theories can be multifaceted. They offer simple explanations for complex problems, validate pre-existing beliefs or biases, and provide a sense of control in times of chaos or confusion. It is crucial to explore the psychological mechanisms that make these theories so enticing and how they gain traction in our society. If something is enticing, it is very attractive or tempting. Enticing. In social psychology, the fascination with conspiracy theories and why people believe them has increased interest. Often associated with secret plots or plans and hidden agendas, these theories can have significant societal impacts, shaping political views and influencing public behavior. But what psychological factors lead people to subscribe to these often unfounded beliefs? Creencias sin fundamento, unfounded beliefs. This next part is called cognitive biases and social influences. Y aquí solapamos un poco con cosas del episodio anterior. If you haven't heard the last episode, I really recommend that you do, by the way. Let's keep going. Conspiracy theories thrive on cognitive biases, mental shortcuts that allow us to make sense of the world around us. One such bias is the proportionality bias, which leads people to believe that significant events must have substantial causes. Hence, some individuals find it hard to accept monumental occurrences could result from simple, mundane causes. This bias can fuel belief in conspiracy theories that propose grand, elaborate explanations for significant events. A classic example of the proportionality bias in action is the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. Many find it difficult to accept that such a significant event could be the work of a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald. Instead, they seek more substantial explanations, leading to numerous conspiracy theories, including the involvement of the CIA, the mafia, or even Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson. These theories provide grand, intricate, or complicated plots that fit the event's magnitude, satisfying the proportionality bias. Another cognitive bias at play, or that is affecting this, is confirmation bias. We talked about this in the last episode. People tend to seek out and focus on information that confirms their pre-existing beliefs while ignoring or dismissing contradicting evidence. Hence, por lo tanto, once someone starts believing in a conspiracy theory, they're likely to interpret new information in a way that reinforces this belief. The moon landing hoax theory exemplifies confirmation bias quite well. In 1969, when Neil Armstrong famously stepped onto the lunar surface, many believed it to be a staged act by the US government to assert dominance in the space race against the Soviet Union. A hoax, by the way, spelled H-O-A-X, is something false that is made to deceive or trick people. So supporters of this theory often ignore overwhelming evidence, pruebas abrumadoras, overwhelming evidence such as moon rocks brought back to Earth, thousands of independent validations of the lunar landings, and testimonies from astronauts. Instead, they focus on anomalies they believe to see in lunar landing footage, like fluttering flags suggesting the presence of wind, which, as we know, is impossible in the vacuum of space, or discrepancies in the light and shadow angles in the photographs, interpreting these as proof that the moon landing was staged. This is a classic case of confirmation bias, so looking for evidence to confirm pre-existing beliefs while dismissing the overwhelming evidence that actually contradicts the conspiracy. Social influences also play a critical role. In an environment with high mistrust, falta de confianza, high mistrust in authorities, conspiracy theories can flourish. They often provide alternative explanations that align, que se alinean, that align more with the individual's worldview, especially if they already feel marginalized or suspicious of mainstream narratives. This is what I think is going on nowadays, by the way. The more we mistrust, the more other options seem more valid. Emotional maturity and conspiracy theories research suggests that emotional maturity, or the lack thereof, could influence susceptibility to conspiracy theories. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found a negative correlation between emotional intelligence and belief in conspiracy theories. Essentially, individuals with higher emotional intelligence, a key component, un elemento clave, a key component of emotional maturity, were less likely to believe in such theories. This could be because emotionally mature individuals are better at handling ambiguity and uncertainty, reducing the appeal of conspiracy theories that offer simplistic explanations for complex issues. This next part is called Insights from Bowen Family Therapy. Insights are conocimientos or perspectivas. Insights from Bowen Family Therapy. Bowen Family Therapy is a system-based approach to understanding human behavior, and it might suggest that individuals drawn to conspiracy theories may be dealing with an undifferentiated self. According to this theory, such individuals often struggle with emotional dependency, leading them to seek validation and a sense of belonging from groups that share their beliefs. In this context, conspiracy theories can offer a sense of community and identity, reinforcing the individual's belief system and providing emotional support. To be drawn to something, spelled D-R-A-W-N, means to feel a natural pull, attraction, or strong interest towards something, hacia algo, towards something. You can say things like, I've always been drawn to puzzles and problem solving since I was a kid. to be drawn to something. It's not drown, by the way. It's that aw sound that we need to be making. It rhymes with on, drawn. I think when we see that W, esa W, when we see that W in there as Spanish speakers, we have a natural tendency to round the mouth when it's really just one sound that doesn't really change. Spawn, for example. In Spain, that turns into espawn. Saw turns into sao. When we have that AW combination, it's pretty much always one sound. Law is another example. Una ley, a law, okay? Not lao. Okay, let's keep going. A combination of cognitive biases, social influences, emotional maturity, and family dynamics can contribute to an individual's belief in conspiracy theories. Understanding these factors is crucial for psychologists and anyone seeking to navigate a world where such theories are increasingly prevalent. Then it says, if you or a loved one find yourselves drawn to conspiracy theories, there are several steps you can take. Firstly, develop critical thinking skills and strive to differentiate, to tell the difference, to differentiate between reliable and unreliable sources of information. Secondly, engage in open and empathetic dialogue about the specific theory, which can often reveal why it seems appealing. Coming from a non-judgmental place is essential, reiterating the love and concern that underlie your worries. At times, professional help may be necessary. Psychological consultation can provide a safe space to explore these beliefs and their roots, possibly uncovering underlying concerns or fears driving the interest in conspiracy theories. Remember that it's okay and normal to seek help. The journey towards understanding is ongoing, and every step towards questioning and learning is a step in the right direction. Okay, that's where the article ends. It gave me a lot to think about, really, and it made me see people that believe a lot of conspiracies in a different light or in a different way. But I don't really want to get too much into that. Instead, let's do a quick vocab check. First up is the phrase, or lack thereof. This is an idiomatic phrase that means the absence, la ausencia, the absence of the thing I just mentioned. That whatever was just discussed is missing. The way it was used in this article was, research suggests that emotional maturity or lack thereof could influence susceptibility to conspiracy theories. Importante, lack thereof va todo junto. Thereof, todo junto. Fluttering is a good word too. The sentence was, instead, they focus on anomalies they believe to see in lunar landing footage, like fluttering flags, suggesting the presence of wind, which is impossible in the vacuum of space. To flutter, con doble T, means to move or flap quickly like a bird's wings, las alas, like the bird's wings. Aletear in Spanish, I would guess. Lastly, I also wanted to mention the phrasal verb to play into. To play into. The sentence was, in the high-speed information exchange and social media bubble, these theories find fertile ground, terreno fértil, fertile ground to root and to spread, often playing into the fears and uncertainties of individuals. To play into something means to help, support, or encourage or contribute to something, often unintentionally, like an idea, a stereotype, or expectation, or someone else's advantage. So these theories play into the fears and uncertainties of individuals. Some good words there, some good words and idiomatic phrases today. All right, that's it for this episode of English with Dane. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. Let me know what you think. Do you enjoy these read-alongs? Are you enjoying talking about things that aren't necessarily about the English language itself? Let me know. Write to me at English with Dane on Instagram or TikTok because I would love to hear your feedback. As always, remember that it's not about learning everything and remembering everything that we're talking about. It's about staying curious and just keeping it going, keeping the learning going, and write things down that catch your eye, things that you would use on a day-to-day basis. If you got to the end of this episode, I think that's a great sign that you're on your way to being where you want to be with your English. So congratulations, and I'll see you next week. All right, later.